Hello fellow woodworkers and welcome to this week's edition of the Garage Workshop 10-minute tool review. This week we're going to be checking out the Parkside belt sander. Roll the intro. Okay, so first things first, let's have a look at what's inside the box. I picked up the belt sander in Lidl. It was a special buy, but it wasn't a special buy that Lidl normally have. It was actually a new Lidl store that opened next to me, and it was one of their manager's deals. But I know that you can get these; they're quite regularly in their special buy section. I only paid £12.99 for this. As I said, it was an introductory deal because it was a new store opening, so I paid £12.99 for it, and their normal price, their suggested price, is £29.99, so I got a huge amount off, 70% I think it equated to. So let's have a look what's inside it. So we've got a couple of G-clamps, and what looks like a hose, dust extractor, and another cap. We've got the obligatory Parkside instruction booklet. Usually their Parkside booklets are actually pretty good, and the other thing about it is they've now got an online service thing called Lidl Service where you can get all of these in PDF form. If you don't know that, I'll put the link on the screen now, but if you've got a Parkside tool, a lot of them are on there. So that's the instructions, and we have the actual sander itself, which I have to say is a heck of a lot lighter than I thought it was going to be. It's actually really quite lightweight, which is a bit of a surprise. A lot of Parkside Lidl tools all come with the same slider. My multifunction tool's got the same slider on it, the same sliding power selector. I'm just seeing it goes as far as 6, but it actually does look, I'm not sure if you can see it on the film there, but it actually does look pretty sturdy. Very impressed with it so far. And the only other thing in the box is this, which I'm presuming, just spin that around so you can see it, I presume that that's the dust hood by the look of it. But it also looks from the connector in there that you'll be able to connect that to the a hose by the look of it. So I've got a couple of pieces of wood that I want to try with it, and as always we're going to have a little test to see just how loud it is. So let's get on and do that little loudness test now. Noticeable features that I wanted to point out. I've just had a quick look at the instructions. The first, let me just take the dust guard off. The first is that's the inbuilt dust guard that you would use if you were using it remotely or you weren't anywhere near dust extraction. Looks pretty sturdy. It's got a nice vent on the side that's got material on it. The other thing is, at the front it's got a little connector which you can lift up, and it says in the instructions that is if you are sanding something and that is in the way, you need more access, you can simply lift that clamp up and that will give you more access. The other thing is this handle at the top. It's been designed so that you can move it and put it into different positions depending on what you're sanding. So you can either put it that way, have it higher up if it's something that you're sanding, or if it's something you're using more as you would with a traditional sander, you can use it that way. So it has got a couple of those little features. It also says that it's got a 600 watt output, and I think it's going to be quite sort of grunty. So Okay, so having just done the speed test, you saw even at its maximum, I think it was 69 decibels, which isn't really very loud at all. The only thing I noticed when I did do the power test was the revolution of the belt wasn't perhaps as fast as I thought it was going to be. I don't think it's an underpowered unit by any means, but I've got two tests for it. I've got a big plank of very rough like scaffolding board that we'll do in a minute, and I've got this plank of old floorboarding which I salvaged quite a long time ago. So I'm just going to connect this up and we'll give the sander a go and see how it performs. Also really important whenever you're using a sander to use the correct PPE. So I'm going to put on my mask now, my respirator and my glasses and my safety glasses. Okay, so first impressions, as you will have seen, I've deliberately left the dust hood off. First of all, I should have said that before I started because I wanted to see how much dust it would generate, and as you can see, not a lot of dust at all. Excuse me. But the surface of the wood is actually pretty good. It took a while that I'm only using what is described on the box as the coarse belt. It says coarse wooden belt, which it comes with it. There has been quite a bit of movement. I'm not entirely sure if you can see that, but the belt has moved quite a long way, and I presume that's because it needs a bit of tightening up, but I'm not entirely sure how to do that, so I'll have a look in the instructions. But the belt has moved off quite a long way. So excuse me, perhaps not under quite the amount of tension it should be, but in terms of the wood, I have to say it did feel quite underpowered when I used it. I don't really think it's sort of got a huge amount of guts in it, but this wood is beautiful. The actual finish of what it's done is really nice, so I am happy with that. But again, just feels a little bit underpowerful. But I've got another piece of wood which is a big thick like scaffolding plank. Let's give that a go and see how that works out. Okay, so having just read the instructions, it says that the correct way to adjust the belt being out is to use this tensioning screw. So the other thing is to change the belt on it. There's a little clip at the side here, and when you pull that clip out, it releases the tension inside the actual belt sander. Now from here I can actually push the belt, the sandpaper belt, across, because I think obviously it was new, it just come out the box, it was a little bit, you know, unsettled in the travel. Now when I push that back, that's already given me the tension that I need, so there's no need for that. But if you do turn that tool, I can see, I'm not sure if you can see that on the film, it is moving the belt very, very slightly in and out, but it's now in the right place. It now appears to be under the correct amount of tension. So let's get the other scaffold board and give that a go. So, what are my thoughts about the Parkside belt sander? Well, as you probably saw on the second piece of wood, it took quite a bit of a go to get it off. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it there, but it's pretty much, the top of the wood has pretty much stayed exactly on the sandpaper, the belt. I don't know if that's just the belt, but there's quite a lot trapped in the side of it there. And also, as you can see, look how far the belt has moved across from where I started. And if you remember, just before I did that, I put the belt exactly in line and I tensioned it exactly in the way that it tells you to do in the book. But it has moved quite a long way, and now the belt is obviously clagged, and all this was just a piece of board, scaffolding board. It did have a little bit of sand on it, but nothing that bad, and the belt moved quite a long way. And the other thing was, it felt really, really underpowered when I was using it on the wood. It was a bit underpowered on the floorboard, but particularly on the scaffolding board, it was very underpowered. So that's a little bit of a disappointment, if I'm honest. So if I was to give it a rating, it's probably going to do what I need it to do, because I will probably only use it 3 or 4 times a year, if that. But I think if you are looking for a product which you can use a lot and you can use to take down lots of different surfaces, you know, rough and smooth, then perhaps this might not be for you. But having only paid £12.99 for it, for me it was a bargain. But I have to say, I'm not entirely sure that this is a Parkside tool I would recommend. It does feel very underpowered, and I'm not entirely sure how good the finished surfaces would be when you use it. So thanks very much for joining me on this 10-minute tool review. If this is your first visit to the Garage Workshop, please can I ask you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. If you're a regular viewer, firstly, thank you very much, and also don't forget to like and comment on the videos. Plenty more coming up from the Garage Workshop. I hope you enjoyed this 10-minute tool review. Have a fantastic week. Happy woodworking, everybody.